This is my last day in Saigon. Tonight at 11:30 my direct flight will go back to Munich, and I'm gonna spend this day in a more chilled way, so I'm not planning to do some exhausting explorations. I will first go to the Museum of Fine Arts, then do some shopping, have a late lunch, and I think in the early evening hours I will walk around District 1 when the temperatures are no longer that high. Talking about museums and museum-like places here in Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City if you want to. Last time, on my last trip, I visited two of them. The first was the Independence Palace. That's the place where the Vietnam War ended, and it has also been the workplace of the president of South Vietnam during the late 60s and early 70s. This place is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. It's really a must-see, even if you're not so interested in history. The architecture is unique and all the rooms are preserved, so the interior is still like in 1975. So this is absolutely recommended. The second place I visited is the War Remnants Museum. This place, well, I would also recommend it, but it is definitely not a place to have a good time. I found it really depressing and difficult. Not only because of the things that are shown in this place, partially in a very explicit way, but also the way they are presented, which is clearly in a propagandistic style. Okay, I guess this is the metro station. It's also a place you should see, but with a caveat. I haven't seen the Fine Arts Museum on my last trip, so that's where I'm going to go now. I am at Ben Thanh Market, so over there, that's the market, and the museum should be somewhere to the right, if I'm correct. Is this the museum? Yeah. Ho Chi Minh City Fine Arts Museum. Quite an impressive colonial building that I haven't seen so far. Just bought a ticket. It is only €1. I hope the place got air conditioned, but it doesn't look like that. Never mind. But really quite an amazing building. But as always here in Saigon, next to it you got skyscrapers, whatever, under construction. Okay, let's go inside. It is not allowed to use my action cam in the museum, so I have to do some filming with my mobile phone. And the exhibition starts. with some sketches of Accro. This is all modern art after 1975. This is a special exhibition just with works of one specific artist, Le Bardin, and the museum is quite nice. There are lots of English descriptions. And quite fascinating artworks. I like this footprint. It was not allowed to film in the museum, at least not with my camera, only with the mobile phone. But I really recommend this place, even if you're only a little interested in art. So this is modern art, modern Vietnamese art mostly since 1975, when the communist period started. It has some really very interesting and amazing pieces of art. And aside from that, of course, it is kind of an island of peace and quietness within the crazy noise of Saigon. So I spent 2 hours here. I think most people will be happy with maybe 1 hour, but you can spend a lot of time there. It is not a huge museum. It has 3 floors, and each floor has maybe 6-7 rooms. But I'm really happy that I came here. Okay, and next thing I gotta do is some shopping. Maybe today I will manage to make some nicer videos about the streets of Saigon. First shopping mission accomplished, so I deserved some coffee, iced coffee. I went to Highlands Coffee, which is, I think, one of the best Vietnamese cafe chains. And now I gotta go shopping for some food. Things like dried coconuts, chips, nuts, maybe some dried durian or some other durian products. Let's see. This shopping mall wasn't too great for food. They had mostly some relatively overpriced European products. So now I'm gonna go to my default shopping mall. I think it's called the Vincom Center, and it has a quite decent grocery store in the basement. What's going on?
I thought you.
This is quite a nice street, and interestingly, it is right next door to Bentan Market, but not too many tourists here right now. Pedestrian zone is totally empty right now. But this will change as soon as the sun is gonna set. And that's the Vincom Center shopping mall, where I'm hopefully gonna find some food. I've been walking here, but normal people obviously don't do that. They take an air-conditioned taxi, so they just have to cross 3-4 meters to get into the air-conditioned shopping mall. got my edible souvenir shopping done. Let's see what I've got. Some freeze-dried durian, lots of coconut chips, roasted coconut chips, and here we got jackfruit chips, and finally some durian cake. Plus, before that, I've already bought some cashews, because the cashews here are really different from what you get in Europe. So, gonna go to the hotel, put that stuff into my bag, and then go back into the city center. Saigon definitely looks much better at night or when it's getting dark, because all the nice things are lit up and all the unfinished and shabby stuff isn't. Let's visit Bac Ho for the final time on this visit. Here I am at Bac Gang, the central square at the riverside, and yes, it kind of looks more beautiful at night. One thing that has changed since the last time I've been here 2 years ago, they now have much more animated LED screens on the facades of all kinds of buildings. And even the new development area over there at the other side of the river looks kind of nice at night. So I'm now gonna walk back to the hotel slowly, and in about an hour gonna take a Grab to the airport. I am still near Bac Dang and walking southwards. 2 years ago, when I was in Saigon for the first time, this was one of the first places I visited. And at that time, this was a beautiful park at the riverside. And if you watch my video from way back then, this is where I said, oh my god, what a beautiful city that is. That was 2 years ago. If I would have arrived for the first time now in 2026, would have been different, definitely. That's the end of my 4-week trip to Vietnam, and while on my last trip my impressions were 99% positive. This time I have also seen some downsides, but I have actually also been looking for the downsides as well, because it just cannot be that you travel to a country and everything is just great. So it was a great, wonderful trip. I have seen so many new things, but I'm actually looking forward to going back to Europe again. Not looking forward to the flight. So It is just an experience you have got to get used to be in a country with 6 to 7% annual GDP growth. This, of course, has side effects. It is all much more dynamic and thus much more chaotic than in a place like Germany or Hungary or other places in Europe where there is only very little development. So it is overall, of course, a positive thing that the economy is growing that much in this country, but it does have its side effects. No.
Do you want to? Let's go.
Should we quickly go to Benton Market? Well, while we are there, let's just do it. It's not really worth it. This place might have been amazing 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but I don't know. Today I just find it boring. It is not more than a tourist attraction without any other purpose. So when you are in this region, instead of going to Benton Market, it is probably a better option to visit the Fine Arts Museum, which is right around the corner. I mean, yes, it's relatively picturesque in parts, but only in parts. There are much, much better and more authentic markets in Vietnam. Eight o'clock and I'm still sweating like crazy. Really looking forward to going back to Europe. Last time I traveled to Vietnam in February and early March. This time late April, early May, and that makes a difference. So it's much more humid and also a little bit warmer, which is a huge difference and makes everything more difficult. And I am normally not the kind of person who complains about heat. I normally really can handle high temperatures, but that is in part just too much, even for me. And it's no wonder that people are not walking around, just riding their bikes, hanging out in shopping malls and other air-conditioned places. Okay, that's it. Bye bye. Every time.
Go, 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 go.
How's that?